Hi everyone, my name is Lisa and welcome to my channel, Grace Filled Day. I will be sharing my classical homeschool curriculum on here and our grocery hauls for our large family of 7. And so if you are interested in learning anything about classical homeschooling curriculum, then please stick around and subscribe and be a part of the family here. So today I was just going to share with you guys the kindergarten part of the curriculum that I use, which is actually called Memoria Press. And I have been using the same curriculum for the 5 years of homeschooling that I have been doing with my oldest, and we have 5 kids. So this is Memoria Press is what we use, and this is their little catalog, and it also has some classical teacher articles that they send out every month. And it just has what I love about Memoria Press is that it has each grade specifically set. This is what they have in that grade that you need to teach that grade. I know that there's a lot of other curriculums that I've looked at before when I was deciding that you had to like pick and choose and kind of put your stuff together, and it was kind of confusing as to what goes with this grade and what makes sense with this grade. Classical education is very solid, and it has everything that you need to teach them well. So that is why we chose to do classical, and that's why we chose Memoria Press. And so when we started homeschooling, I wanted to pick something that we were not going to be changing all the time. I wanted to find something that we could stick with that was solid, and I could just kind of change it to fit each child. And so yeah, I really love that it has worked for all of our children, and I can just kind of change it around to fit each child. And in another video, I can share what's been helpful as far as my children that have ADHD or dyslexia, and how we've made it work for us, and it's been really great for them as well. So if you look inside of their catalog, you can see, so today I'm going to share the kindergarten curriculum that we use for my kindergartners. I say kindergartners, I have one kindergartner, but I've had more than one. So this is kind of what it looks like. It shows you exactly in there what comes in the curriculum. And if you look on their website, what I love is also, I'm just going to kind of go through what I love about the kindergarten curriculum, but I'm not going to share every single little thing because you can go straight onto their website, and they will, they have samples of each of the books that they give you with the kindergarten curriculum, and you can look at that. They also have a video where she goes through everything that you get in the kindergarten kit. So those will be really helpful. But I'm just going to kind of show you some of the things that I love in the kindergarten curriculum from Memoria Press. So first of all, for all my children, even the ones that are struggling readers, they all do really well in kindergarten because it has a phonics approach to it. So if you look here, this is the teacher's manual, teacher's guide for the first start reading, and it has a phonics approach to it, which is what I love about Memoria Press the most. It's been super helpful even for my children that are struggling. So they usually do really well and get that, kindergarten, maybe first grade, and then they start to struggle more, and so then we have to do some other things that they need. That's a little more in depth for those particular kids that struggle with dyslexia and things. So If you look at the books for the phonics workbooks that they have, that's just kind of like what they look like here. So you're kind of learning the sound at first, and then you're starting to read things. So they'll do a couple sounds. You'll kind of go over the letters as far as kindergarten goes. And then they're starting to make words with that sound, which is really exciting for my kindergartner. She just loves to just be able to read things. So we're not just learning the sounds, we are learning the sounds and then making a few words in the workbooks, which is really, really nice. If you can see, that's just one of the lessons there. Another thing, okay, so if you look here, this is what the manual looks like, and you can see that there's the opening recitation right there. So we do that every morning. And then some mornings we do the art recitation there. So if you look down next, we have Christian studies. So this is a Christian curriculum. And then you go and there's phonics next. So that's their next subject. And then you have math, arithmetic, copy work, which is they're copying verses from the Bible. And I love the copy work. If you look here, then they have literature and enrichment. This is really important for little ones to be reading aloud, and bigger ones too. They love it. But read aloud books. They have real great classical literature to read aloud. And then they also have classical music that you can listen to. You have art to look through, art selection, and an art selection for each week to kind of study and look at. And then they also have crafts, which I haven't done too many of the crafts because we do that in our homeschool co-op. But there's also poetry. So we have we do poetry once a week, and then you do history and culture, which is usually a book at this age. So they have a lot of great history, culture, science books at this age. And then you have the science enrichment. And so they have a couple fun activities as well for each of those things. And then they have some extra resources, which you don't have to have all of this. Let me see what I can show you. The copy work. So the copy work book looks like this: scriptures and poems. And you can see that on this side it has where they draw their picture of what the verse is talking about. They can draw a picture right here, and then over here is where they're copying it. So what I love is just, they have it written right here, and then they write it right on the next line, which is really important for kindergartners. So that is their copy work. Another thing I really love is just like I said, their enrichment book. So that's going to have like all their science, history, all that kind of stuff in it. And in different times in our lives, there's been a little bit too much going on. Maybe a family member passed away or something like that, and we haven't gotten to all the enrichment, and that's okay as long as we're sticking to those, reading, writing, and arithmetic. So sometimes we'll just have to make up for that during summertime or things like that. But right here we have the read aloud. And what I love here is we talk about the author and the illustrator. We do an overview. Before we read the book, there's a little something there about that. Something that you read there. There's vocabulary that you go through as you're reading. You stop and talk about the vocabulary. You stop and review, and comprehension is these questions are just so great. And then you have an after about the book and a little bit of a language lesson, which is just, my kids love this because I feel like now they know how to kind of dissect books and look deeply at them. And it's just been really, really helpful for that, for comprehension. My children have just great comprehension. And so here we have history and culture. And what I love is just they have, you know, just a little something you can do here. There's some science you can kind of look at or do. And then it talks about your art piece, your music piece that you're listening to, and your poem that you have for the week. Sometimes I add fun things with our poems. We do have like tea and treats or whatever while we're reading our poetry. But that's just kind of a brief little overview of what the enrichment book looks like. Let's see. Math, they use rod and staff for math, and for arithmetic. And I just, I love it because it's very simple and it does have a lot of repetition, but honestly, children need a lot of repetition to learn those facts and to get really quick at them. And so, it's black and white. There's not a ton of, you know, fancy, exciting things. But what I do is I also add lots of manipulatives, and we do that. You can make the manipulatives that they give you printouts for in the book, or you can just use, you know, if you've got counting animals or things like that. See, I'm trying to see if I can show you some other things. So they also have like an animals coloring book for ABCs, and they're kind of like learning different animals in that. So that's a good part of that. And, you know, there's the children's book of poems that is part of it, which has their poetry. And then there's the children's Bible, which ours is pretty worn, which is great. I just love the illustrations in this as well, and the questions. So that's a really good, helpful study there. They did add a couple new things since recently to the kindergarten curriculum, and that is the Memoria Press Math Challenge children's workbook, which I love because I don't always get to flashcards, but this is a good way for them to drill their facts. And so I just love this. As they get bigger, obviously, towards the end of kindergarten, there's more sheets that are more filled like this. But at the beginning, it's, you know, a little bit less. And kind of like numbers and things like that. So this is great if you don't always get to flashcards, or you can't do flashcards individually with each child or that kind of thing. This is super, super helpful for me with multiple children. And then they just added the cut and paste book, and it's got, you know, cut and pasting for each letter. And my daughter just really loved this. So, I mean, that's super helpful for just, you know, learning your letter sounds and practicing that. And then the other thing that they added this year was the kindergarten morning work, which is also just, you know, something that you can give them to work on while you are doing something in the morning, maybe finishing up some breakfast chores or things like that. And they should be able to do these things on their own. So this is stuff that they should have, you know, learned previously the week before. And so you can kind of give them the sheet and have them do it, and while you're working on something else. And so that's a good addition, I think, to the kindergarten curriculum, a recent addition that they had. Like I said, you can go through and look at all the different pieces to the curriculum. They have Phonics first grade book that they also use. The core skills Phonics first grade, and then they also use the kindergarten one as well. So they use these kind of just differently throughout the course of the year. And of course, there's also some different books for reading. They have this is the soft and white, and they have just little stories as far as that goes. These are they're just really, really great little stories. They're super entertaining. And then I think I didn't really show you the craft one, but these are great as well if you want to get all your supplies ready for the year and kind of put them in baggies for, you know, for each week. There's one craft each week, so it's not super complicated. And you could do it easily if you just kind of set it up for the week. Lastly, I think the other thing that I wanted to share that I really, really love, if I can unstack all these books off my lap, is the huge bend of sight words and phonic sounds. And I just love these. And I did laminate them. But it just goes through. You can see different sounds here. Each card kind of has a little bit of some words on the back that make that sound, the phonics sound that you're working on, which is just super helpful for them to kind of, and you can kind of put it in your stack for the week. If, okay, we're working on this sound, and you just continually, they'll tell you when you're using it. But I also recommend, just like if your child's having trouble with a certain sound, just keep it in your stack that you want to go through regularly, because sometimes they need extra practice, and so that's super helpful. And then at the back you can see there's all the sight words, because there are words that you just have to memorize because they just don't follow the phonics rules. So that is super helpful. Now, if you have any questions, well, I forgot to share this part of the curriculum with you, but they have the read aloud set that you can buy, or you can just choose to use the library and get the books there and save money that way. These are just a few of them in the kindergarten read aloud set. There is one for every week of the school year. Yeah, I love the read alouds. They're just great. And you can see those there. Also, they have a science read aloud set, which is really, really, the kids have loved them. So there's, like Milk from Cow to Carton. There's Wish for a Fish, all about sea creatures. They love these Cat in the Hat ones. They learn a lot from those. And there's there's a map on my lap, Beyond the Bugs. They have these ones here, like Surrounded by Sea, Life on a New England Fish Island, and these ones are really great too. The Let's Read and Find Out. They have a lot of these ones in their science set, in their science read alouds. So What Lives in a Shell, Groundhog Day, just some different stuff. Water Dance. These are just great books. And the kids just learn so much from them. If you have any questions about anything that I shared, if there's any questions about how I liked a particular thing or how we use it, feel free to just leave them in the comments, and I would be happy to answer them and chat about classical kindergarten curriculum. I will be sharing videos on the first grade curriculum, and like I said, if you want really in-depth, like what is exactly in the kindergarten curriculum set for Memoria Press, then please go to their website, because you can see all of it. And like I said, she has a video where she goes through and she shows you each book and each item that is in it. But just some things that I really enjoy with the kindergarten curriculum is what I shared with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about Memoria Press or classical education, please feel free to subscribe and stay with me, and I'll share more videos. Thank you.